Okay, everybody, I think I'm just about right on time or close to it. Didn't want to do that, sorry. There we go. So we do have pretty much everybody on board the way it looks, and we are going to be talking tonight about some things that I feel will invariably change your lives forever. So hopefully everybody can see me okay. I'm not seeing myself here. I don't know why, but that's okay. As long as you can see me. Deb, you can see me, right? Shake your head, yes. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so just some housekeeping duties real quickly. You should have received via email a link to a number of different documents that we sent off to you. The first of which is my curriculum vitae, just basically my resume for you. So you can kind of peruse that. Those of you who don't know me or haven't treated with me previously, feel free to look through that. It gives you a little history of me. Real quick history, I started my practice 35 years ago. About in 2007, I started a separate nutrition practice here in the Center for Nutrition and Wellness. And I've been doing, or I was trying to figure out how long I've been doing the Cleanse program. It's got to be at least 10, 12 years that we've been doing this program. So over those 10 to 12 years, we have updated things, we've changed things, but we've also seen a kind of a metamorphosis with many patients. So we're going to talk about some of that tonight. This handout that we have and the materials we sent to you is about weight loss, but basically about managing your weight. One of the things that people join us on the Cleanse for is to lose weight, and that's fine, but I always explain to people that come on board for the Cleanse that our goal is really not so much to see that you lose weight. Our goal is to teach you how to become healthier and live a longer, healthier life. And the way you're going to do that is by realizing and understanding how your body is genetically designed to function, whether that be the foods you eat or the way you move or exercise. So in my book, Dr. Pfeiffer's Guide to a Longer, Healthier Life, I talk about 4 pillars of health, and they are that you need to eat right, which is part of the nutrition aspect. You need to think right, which in the Cleanse, I do a whole section on stress and how stress affects you physiologically. You need to move right, and that's part of our chiropractic practice, obviously, is to see that people begin to move correctly. And you need to sleep right, which is the one that kind of is left out oftentimes in health programs. Because sleep is a very important aspect of our lives, and I'll talk again a little bit about that tonight. I did send you also a double-sided sheet, hopefully it comes out when you get it, about my Cleanse. So it's a little bit more of an explanation. We're going to go into a lot of detail tonight, but this will be a refresher for you if you want to share it with someone else as well. And then I talk in this handout called Why Purification about what detoxification is really all about, because that's the big aspect of what we're going to be teaching you over the course of the 21-day Cleanse program. And that is how to detoxify your body. And again, we'll talk about that tonight. And lastly is a handout we have about healthy detoxification and weight loss in the process. So again, I gave you a lot to read through, and we're going to do some objective assessment tools during the Cleanse to determine how you're progressing. But I gave you one in the handouts that is a kind of a checkoff sheet that helps you understand how toxic you actually may be. And we're going to talk in the next few minutes about how we become toxic. And I want you to really understand that the goal of our Cleanse program is for you to be able to refresh your system, basically to rejuvenate who you are and to clean house, I guess is a good way to put it. So let's talk a little bit about what our cleanse is about. Well, really, it's important for you to understand what others have been through in our cleanse. So here's something to just kind of recognize. It's paradoxical that the idea of living a long life appeals to everyone, but the idea of getting old doesn't appeal to anyone. That's very true, simply because we don't age the way we should. If you think about how people on the farm years ago would age, they were still very functional right until the end of their lives. Today, that is not the case. Our functional lifespan is actually relatively short. The average functional lifespan, and what I mean by functional lifespan is the period when you can actually still do things that you want to do physically and cognitively. That lifespan is about 65 years, 66 years. The actual lifespan of people in the United States has actually dropped over the last 2 years, and that's the first time it's done that. So the initial drop was 2 years ago, and that was attributed primarily to the opioid crisis. Believe it or not, that impacted our not only the health and wellness of our population, but the longevity of our population. So that was the first drop we had, and our lifespan dropped by 1 year at that time. This past year was the second time we had a diminished lifespan, and that was attributed to COVID and all the sequelae of COVID. Not just the deaths due directly to COVID, but the deaths due indirectly to COVID, because as you know, the suicide rate went up dramatically over the last year. The drug abuse and drug overdose rate went up dramatically over the last year. So there are multiple reasons for that, but our lifespan used to be 77 years. It is now 75 years. So you can see that last 10 to 12 years of your life, you're non-functional. You just are living, but not functioning. And that's what we want to try and avoid for the patients and our patients, but also for those coming through our cleanse program. That statement was made by Andy Rooney, who had some pretty good statements he made over his career, but that's a really important one to conceptualize for you guys. This is a patient who had gone through our cleanse program and her synopsis of her experience. She said she went from feeling horrible, very bad headaches and being very sluggish to a lot of energy during the first week of the cleanse. Now, I want you guys to understand that the process that we're going to go through is 21 days. However, the metamorphosis, the change that you're going to experience is going to happen relatively quickly. Another couple of examples of that. I had a patient, and we have multiple patients who have come through this program with insulin-dependent diabetes, Crohn's disease, just a variety of different maladies. Psoriatic arthritis. I have never, and again, I've been doing this program probably for 10 to 12 years, twice a year. We used to do it 3 times a year. We now do it twice a year. I have never had a patient who has not succeeded in attaining the goals that they anticipated going through the program. I've had insulin-dependent diabetics go through this program. One individual, he was morbidly obese. He was insulin-dependent diabetic plus 2 oral diabetes medications he was taking when he started. We started the program on a Saturday. We always do. It gives you an opportunity to kind of get everything organized. And he was texting me by Tuesday. So within 4 days, his blood sugar level went down to levels where they had never been. I think when he called me, his morning blood sugar, fasting blood glucose was 87. I said, you must contact your primary care or prescribing physician, and they're going to take you off of this. You have to show them what your levels have been over the last several days. Long story short, by the end of the cleanse, He was off of all oral diabetes medication. His insulin, which had been 40 units twice a day, was now 10 units as needed. That gentleman went through the cleanse again, and you'll see that in the program when you join us, or if you decide to join us. Many of the people that will be in the cleanse with you, cleanse class, have already been through the cleanse once or twice. He decided to join us again because what happens is, although we teach you everything you need to do, life gets in the way and it gets a little hectic sometimes and you fall off the wagon a little bit. So he wanted to reboot his system again, which he did. After his second cleanse, which would have been a little over a 6-month period, he had lost, you ready for this? He had lost 100 pounds. His life had totally changed. So this is what you'll see. So to finish up here, what Sharon had said was it felt really good. She has more energy and is not stressed anymore. And it's really an important factor for me because I feel that's a big component of health and wellness, is being able to understand the manifestations of stress and manage your stressors. And there are multiple ways that we talk about doing that. I've been walking on the treadmill and outside and have been feeling great. So it was a big change in that first week for Sharon. Understanding where these toxic substances come from in our bodies is very important. Understanding how we can detoxify them is also very important, and how we can manage our weight, and ultimately things like cholesterol, which I will teach you a lot of things that are going to be kind of counterintuitive because of the way you've been programmed to think. So we're going to talk about cholesterol and fats, and I'm going to help you understand good fats and bad fats. I'll also help you understand that cholesterol is not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, if you didn't have cholesterol in your body, you wouldn't be able to manufacture vitamin D or most other hormones that you manufacture in your body. We live in a very toxic environment. I think we can all agree to that fact. And it is a fact. Air pollution is at an all-time high. Environmental toxins are everywhere. The World Health Organization estimates that 4.6 million people die each year from causes directly attributable to air pollution. And in 2006, I realize it's dated. It's only gotten worse since then. The estimate of the EPA in 1 year was that 4,248,865,230, that's a big number, pounds of chemicals were either dumped into public sewage or released into ground surface waters or the air. Now, think about this for a minute. People who have medications, drugs that they consume that either expire or they don't use any longer or they've changed to something else, many times they dispose of them by flushing them. And if you live in a area where you use public sewer and water, those substances are not removed from the water. So people are drinking statin drugs and antihypertensive drugs and all kinds of drugs that are just dumped into the toilet and flushed away. The sewage treatment plants do not remove those substances. So what about what we eat? Well, the US allows over 14,000 chemical additives to our food supply, not all of which have to be labeled on the food supply. The average American consumes more than 15 pounds of food additives. This is annually. 60 pounds of sugar and 60 pounds of high fructose corn syrup. Now, if you look on the label of your processed foods, you won't see high fructose corn syrup anymore. You'll see corn sugar. And the reason they've done that is because high fructose corn syrup has a very bad history and a very bad connotation. So what the food industry does is they just change the names so that you don't know what it is. So it's now called corn sugar, which doesn't sound as bad, does it? Anything that ends in an ose on the processed food that you're consuming is a sugar. So I don't care if it's dextrose or maltose or what the ose is, it's a sugar of some type. So if we look at the types of foods we ingest, as an example, MSG. MSG is a food additive that enhances the flavor of foods. And by doing that, it causes you to want more. High fructose corn syrup, we already discussed. Sugar, if we could eliminate sugar from the dinner table of most Americans, we would go like real far in decreasing not only diabetes, but every condition that diabetes is linked to, including cancer, including heart disease, including stroke. I mean, it's just a plethora of different conditions that are related directly to diabetes, i.e. sugar consumption. And trans fats. Trans fats are not natural fats. They're man-made fats, which have been outlawed in certain areas of the country like New York City, because those fats cannot be incorporated into our bodies like a normal fat would be. And so they create other problems as a result of that fact. So if we look at the amount of sugar that's contained just in the can of Coke, it's 40.5 grams, which equates to 10 teaspoons of sugar. So every 12-ounce can of Coke you consume, you might as well just dump, take your water glass and just dump 10 teaspoons of sugar in it, put a little water, put a little phosphoric acid, and a little caramel color. Make your own, because that's what you're consuming. So if you want to take, let's say you want to clean your toilet and you're too lazy to do it, the night before when you go to sleep, just before you go to sleep, dump a can of Coke into your toilet. And in the morning, your toilet will be sparkling clean because the phosphoric acid in the Coke will clean it. Years ago, when we were kids, this is horrible to say, but people would dump a can of Coke on somebody's car, totally take the finish off, take the paint right off the car. Drinking a can of Coke a day for a year results in a consumption, just a can of Coke every day for a year, consumption of 32 pounds of sugar. Drinking a Coke a day instead of the equivalent amount of even tap water, I don't even care if it's tap water, okay, for a full year would cause you to gain 18 pounds. Or that almost equates to what? 4 bags of sugar that you could hang on your belt and walk around with every day. It's crazy. I mean, if you just think about something as simple as that, and we're going to pull you away from all of this junk during the cleanse and clean your system out. Carbohydrates and sugar. So a carbohydrate is just sugars that are linked together. So if you were to take a cracker, just a regular saltine cracker, and put it in your mouth and chew it and just leave it there for a while, the enzymes that are released in your saliva will start to break those bonds, and it will taste sweet to you, sweeter than it did when you put it in your mouth. So carbohydrates and sugars, they're basically the same thing. So let's look at just overweight adults in the United States. Okay, I'm not even talking about morbidly obese, 400 and 500 pound people. I'm just talking about overweight adults. In 1988, the red states indicate states where there were 35% or more of the population that was overweight. Then in 1992, it looked like this. By 1996, this. By 1999, this. And 1 year later, the entire population of the United States, every state, had at least 35% or more of the population living in that state that was overweight. We are the most debilitated society and culture that we have ever had in this country right now. And we wonder why, and I don't want to get political, but I want you to understand a few things. We wonder why so many people are dying as a result of getting this virus. I don't care what you think about the virus or where you think it came from or how it was made. It was a bad, it wasn't a bad. I don't care about any of that stuff. Here's what I care about. The people who are dying from this have comorbidities. What are comorbidities? The number one comorbidity that are dying from this virus for is diabetes, which causes kidney disease. There's another comorbidity. Which causes neuropathy. That's another comorbidity, which causes cardiovascular disease. Okay, diabetes causes all those things. So if you have diabetes, you will probably end up with at least 4 or 5 other comorbidities. So your body's trying to handle all of this, and then all of a sudden along comes this thing that puts a hyperinflammatory state into the body, affecting primarily the respiratory system. And guess what? Your system becomes overloaded and it can't deal with it all. So I want you to recognize that this is preventable. I guess that's the best way to put it. We can get our bodies into better shape and condition and be able to ward off things like this and others. Okay, the whole answer to this, in my opinion, my limited opinion, is not to vaccinate us every 6 months for the rest of our lives. It's to get our bodies healthier. That's the answer to this. So let's look at toxins. Toxins enter your body through different portals. The lungs are one of the primary ways that toxins get into our bodies. Smoking cigarettes, cigarette smoke is a toxin. Okay, we can all agree to that. Inhalation of toxins do not always excrete through your lungs. They're captured in your lungs and they stay there. So that's one form of, or one portal for toxic substances to enter the body. The digestive tract is also a portal for toxins to enter your system. Here's another one, though, that we don't often think of, and that's the skin. So perfumes, lotions, hairsprays, etc., will enter through your skin and go into your body and be stored there. Where are most toxins stored in your body? In the fat cells. We dump it into fat. It can also be stored in other places like your bones, but usually the fat is where we store things that are toxic. So when you lose weight, you're going to excrete those toxins. The problem is that you need to get them then out of your body. So our detoxification program, our cleanse program, is designed not only to get the toxins out of the fat and to get the fat out of your body, but also to get the toxins out of your body and excrete it in an appropriate fashion. So all this toxicity will cause other issues, like, well, everything listed here, but just think about fatigue for a minute, or headaches. We do have toxic headaches that occur in the body. Allergies. Allergens will affect us more readily when our body is loaded with toxic substances. Joint pains, muscle pains, anxiety and stress will be heightened oftentimes by this. Skin rashes. I have a quick story to tell you about that. I said I have had individuals who come through the program with conditions like psoriatic arthritis. And I don't know if you know anyone who's had psoriatic arthritis, but it affects the joints, but it also affects the skin. You end up with psoriatic lesions all over your body. So we had a patient who came through with that, or an individual, and he had psoriasis. And so think about this for a minute. The psoriasis comes from the inside or the outside. Okay, so if you go to a dermatologist, they're going to give you creams and things to put on the outside of your skin to kind of soothe that psoriatic lesion. But in fact, it's coming from inside, because one of the portals to excrete things from your body is through your skin. Long story short, again, this individual joined us for the cleanse and he had lesions all over the place, hands, forearms, legs. By the end of the cleanse, 21 days, the only place he had a little bit of psoriasis was between his index finger and his middle finger on one hand. The rest of it was all gone. And it was because we detoxified his system and cleaned it out. He also lost a bunch of weight. The organs of detoxification. So we're going to use these organs to get the toxins out of your body. The lymphatic system, the blood circulating through your body obviously is. The skin, I already mentioned, kidneys, colon, lungs, and the liver. Liver is your primary portal of detoxification through your body. All your blood is detoxified through the liver through two different systems. And I want you to think of those systems like the oil filter in your car. So you change your oil, you change the oil filter too. Why? Because it gets full of junk. And if you didn't change it, it would get backed up or plugged up. The same thing happens in your liver. If you don't clean it out every so often, it starts to get backed up with junk. And so that's part of what we're going to be doing during the cleanse. So I said there are outcomes assessment tools that we utilize during the cleanse. This is one. We utilize a toxicity questionnaire that you will fill out at the beginning of the cleanse before we even start. And it'll give us an objective number relative to your overall toxic load in your body. That's how we start. We also reproduce that at the end of the cleanse, and we compare them to determine how much you have detoxified during the course of the 21-day cleanse program. We will send you an email at the end of the cleanse that will have that number on it. It'll also have your weight loss on it. It'll also have some other information as well about your progress through the course of the cleanse. The purpose of our program, obviously, is to detoxify all the organs that you see listed here and filter toxins. Xenobiotics are man-made toxins. An example of that would be glyphosate or Roundup. That's a man-made toxin. And we need to get that and others out of the body. The procedure that we utilize, we provide you with supplementation, all whole food organic supplementation. We also utilize a shake, which is all whole food as well, and clean. The program lasts 21 days, and we support you through the entire program. We will have weekly meetings. We will get together via Zoom or in person, whichever way you prefer, and have classes essentially once a week. And in those classes, we will talk about how you can continue to clean house, how you can continue to do what we're teaching you long term. As I said, we talk about things like healthy fats and not so healthy fats. We talk about how you can determine whether your skincare products are clean or non-toxic or less toxic to your body. We also talk about ways that you can de-stress and reduce stress in your life, and really how stress affects your body, as I said earlier. We talk a little bit about exercise, things that are simple that you can do without getting carried away with having to go to the gym and all kinds of things that way as well. What you achieve as far as your outcomes going through the cleanse? Well, obviously improved circulation, because we want the body and the blood to be cleaned out. Sleep patterns change. I have had patients come through this program who could not sleep through the night and sleep like babies at the end. And hormone function overall is enhanced as we go through the cleanse. But really what I look at is your overall health and wellness. I want to see that you become healthier at the end of 21 days and that you can continue along that path. I want to see that you have better energy, as we saw with Sharon, she did in the first week. And this one is important too. I always say that as people go through the cleanse program, they develop what I call the healthy glow. And I can't really explain it, they just change. And you have people come up to you, loved ones or coworkers or family members, who will say to you, what are you doing? Something's different about you. You look different. Something's not the same. And that's that healthy glow. And one thing I will say as you go through the cleanse, you will teach others through your actions. So I like to see that spouses join in on the cleanse together because it makes it easier. But even if you don't, if your husband and wife or whatever significant other doesn't join you, you will affect them through what you're doing. So there's always a ripple effect to what we do with the cleanse program. Improved weight, that's a biggie. A lot of people want to see that. And I will tell you that the vast majority of men who come through the program will lose more weight than you ladies. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works because of metabolic differences. But, you know, not that you won't lose weight. It's always the guys who get the dagger eyes because every week we're weighing you in to see how you're doing. And the guys are always the big losers during the week. Improved digestion and elimination. Now, look, you have to understand that, you know, every one of your cells functions exactly like you do. And what I mean by that is you take in nutrition and you excrete waste. And that's important. That's an important process. You should excrete waste every day, not every 2 or 3 or 4, every day. And your cells do the same thing. So you take in nutrients into your cells, and in your cells excrete waste products. The problem is that most people don't drink enough water. And if you don't drink enough water, what happens is the material around your cells, called the interstitial fluid, becomes more gelatinous and concentrated. And if you excrete from the cells into that gelatinous material, guess what? It doesn't flow away. If you hydrate, that interstitial fluid becomes more fluidy, and you will see an excretion of the waste products because it can be carried away through that more liquid material surrounding the cells. So we're big on hydration during the cleanse as well. Reduced allergies, big one. As you become more toxic, allergens affect you more significantly at a heightened level. Same thing with the headaches and joint pain, muscle pain. That is a product of inflammation in your body. And what's going to happen is during the cleanse, because of the way we're going to be having you eat, because you're going to eat food, you are not going to eat product. And what is product? It's something that's man-made or manufactured in a factory. What will happen is your inflammatory load will drop way down as a result of the way you're eating. You're decreasing inflammation in your body, and that's what the joint and muscle pain is. Look, here's another one for you to take away tonight. Anytime you're diagnosed with a condition that ends in the suffix itis, it is an inflammatory condition. The prefix to that, the front end of that word, whatever it is where it's located. So I want to give you an example. Arthritis. Arthro is Latin for joint. Itis is inflammation. So all that word means is you have inflammation in the joint. Colitis, colonitis, it's inflammation in the bowel. You see how it works? It's kind of simple when you think about it. So we want to see that all of those itises diminish and your overall systemic body inflammatory load comes down. So here's another individual. Well, this is actually Sharon. During the final week of the cleanse, I've noticed I have so much energy that lasts all day long. I'm feeling great. I have been exercising 3 to 4 times per week. Now, she's just on a treadmill and doing a little bit of core workout. It's not a big deal. My internet connection is unstable. I apologize for that. Weight is coming off real easily. I have so much energy, I force myself to sit down and relax. Some words of encouragement to others who are thinking about the cleanse. And those words are, do it. Don't think it will be tough. And that's a problem. Most people think this is going to be a big ordeal. It really isn't. it's just giving up some things that you have probably become addicted to, like sugar, like caffeine, like, the processed foods. It isn't difficult. And once you start to eat healthy and feel the wonderful results, see, this is a self-motivation that goes on with the cleanse. You do these things, you feel better and look in the mirror and feel better about yourself. And that is self-perpetuating. It causes you to want to do more. You will wonder why you never tried it before. This is Sharon's second time doing it, and it's worth it to feel great. This is another gal, Alexis. During the final week of the program, I'm feeling absolutely wonderful. I felt much lighter, not hungry between meals, and just feel right inside. I've been exercising 4 days a week and walking approximately 1 to 2 miles. Now, again, the exercise is not going to the gym and pumping iron for 4 hours. It's just doing some floor exercises and stretches. One of the most exciting changes for me is that I didn't really feel hungry, nor did I have the sugar cravings I did before. You see, whether you admit it or not, most of you are addicted to sugar. It's addictive just like heroin is. Actually, it gives you the same brain response that heroin does, and that's what causes you to want more. It releases a neurochemical that causes you to want more. For those of you thinking about the cleanse, do it at least once. It's such a good feeling to think you're doing something beneficial for your body and not introducing preservatives, chemicals, or artificial additives. I plan to continue on with the cleanse. And what she means by that is continuing to do what we have taught her to do during those 21 days. So you can create a new you in 21 days, and you have to think about what's holding you back. Is it, somebody else? Is it that you think it's going to be too difficult? Is it that, you don't want to give up your latte, frappe thingamajigger that you get every day on your way to work that gives you about 5,000 calories and a bunch of sugar? I mean, you have to come to grips with your reasoning. But one thing I will tell you is, once you go through the cleanse, you will never, ever be the same. You will think differently. You will learn things that you never knew before, and you will conceptualize them. They become a part of you. So the cleanse is your road to health and wellness and your ability to create a new you. So for all of you who are on this webinar tonight, we offer you a $50 savings off your registration fee. You did receive via email a copy of the costs of the program. So I'm going to review those with you briefly here now. Now let's go back to here. So let's get all our dates down so you know what the commitment is. We have cleanse meeting dates on Thursday, October 7th, October 14th, October 21st, and October 28th. Our meetings will last approximately 1 hour, but they could go a little longer if there are questions or other things we need to go through. The cost of our cleanse program is $499. Now, your $50 savings brings that down to $449. If you choose to, you can break that into component parts. You can make actually it says a 3 installment plan because of our time right now before the cleanse. It's a 2 installment plan. You can do the $249.50. It says tonight, but I am not taking any payment tonight. I don't do that because that's not my forte, and I'll probably make a mistake with it. So you can email us back, or you can call first thing in the morning to Curry and just say, hey, I want to do this. She'll take payment for the first component, which is $249.50. And then on September 21st, she'll expect the second component of the payment. That gives her enough time to get in everything she needs for you. Important point, you get everything you need for the cleanse. There's no additional stuff you need. We will tell you what foods you should buy because you're going to be eating salads and a lot of vegetables, some fruits, and some meat. And we'll talk to you about that. We have our first meeting, as I said, on October 7th. So that's a Thursday night. So Friday, Saturday. The 9th would be the day that you start the cleanse. So we give you a couple days after our first meeting to kind of get everything organized, get your foods together, and start the program. We hold your hand through the whole thing. So we have emails that will come out to you every single day to support you in what you're doing. They may have some recipes and different things in them. You'll get an email directly from me once a week, just talking about what's been accomplished that week and where we're going next. And you will get all of the supplies that first night. You won't need anything else. What you need for the shake, etc., you will have. All the supplements you will have. In our first meeting, we go over the first week. That's it. We just go week to week so you don't get overwhelmed with what's coming next. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you of you. Number one thing is, I want you to seriously consider your future. Okay, where is your trajectory right now of your life? This program has changed literally thousands of lives over the last 10 to 12 years. It can change yours, but you have to make a commitment to doing what you need to do. That means you're not going to be drinking coffee the way you are now for 21 days. You're not going to be consuming the sugary products that you do now for 21 days, and hopefully long after that. You're going to be eating food, not product, but food. Things that grow on trees, are dug out of the ground, have scales, moo, or, walk on four legs. So, just recognize what our goals are with the program. So if you're interested in doing the program, you can just turn this form around, email us back. I think there's a link on the form too. And Curry will get it in the morning, and you can just take care of however you want to take care of the program then. You will receive the $50 registration fee discount, even though it's tomorrow, okay, even though it says tonight. Things have changed a little bit for us. This used to be an in-person program, and now it's a Zoom program, which is fine, but it means that we're a little more disconnected from you rather than having you just go out to Curry tonight and take care of it. You may have some questions. If you do, Curry can handle them. When you contact her, you can just email the questions, but get on board because we only do this twice a year. If you miss out on doing it now, you won't be doing it for another 6 months, which means you're going to go through all the holidays. You're going to go through everything winter-wise that's coming up, and you're not going to have the support of what you're going to learn to be able to get through that period and not put on a ton of weight, which is the most common time for people to gain weight. So give that some serious thought. Let us know by tomorrow your interest level and what you'd like to do, and Curry will take care of everything for you from there. I want to thank you for coming out to the program tonight. It really is an honor to be able to be here tonight, obviously, and talk to you, but also to be able to assist you in moving your life forward so that we don't end up over those last 10 to 12 years totally unfunctional and unable to enjoy the lives that we have left. So have a wonderful evening. You take care of yourselves. And I will see some of you in the office. Some of you I will see, hopefully all of you, I will see at our cleanse program starting on October 7th. So have a great evening. Email us back on that form or that link that you have, and Curry will take care of everything for you tomorrow. All right? Have a good night, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.
Dr. Pfeiffer, all the,
Rosie, go
all the-
ahead.
all the meetings start at 7 o'clock on Thursday?
7 p.m. on Thursdays.
Excellent.
Now, one thing I didn't say, if for some reason you can't make one meeting, okay? We
Yeah.
do have them recorded. We can send you a link. You can watch it that way, but the recording only lasts a specified period of time and then it's gone. Okay.
Will they also have the option of Skype?
Yes, definitely. So we'll be doing it this way for those who are, long distance, and then we'll be doing it in person for those who want to come into the office.
Excellent. All
Okay?
right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Rosie. You
See ya.
take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye now, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.